Welcome back, everybody, to the next arena for more SPL on this beautiful Tuesday night. We're having a lot of back and forth matches here between the two teams. You know, the first one, SKT versus MVP, very close, going to that ace match. And once again, here, Jinair versus Afreeca starts off 1-1.
Best winning pose ever goes to Bomber. Now, this has been a night filled with upsets, okay? If Jinair players were here earlier watching SKT get forced to an ace match, they don't want that to happen. Now, when you look at like Jinair and SKT and KT, those teams are pretty much always guaranteed playoffs because they play that well. But I mean, I know I'm being almost a bit facetious here in saying these things, but when you think about that, when it comes to who's going to get the seeds and the matches that get skipped when we go to playoffs, every single indicator point matters. So when you're actually starting to lose maps to some of the weaker teams, it's a bit uncomfortable, no doubt.
Maru changed his pose here. I actually like this one. It's like sexy Maru. He's grown up from the cute Maru that we had before.
Maru's like, I'm taking off my fake Jinair tie.
Unbuttoning my tie here. Look at that pentagon, man. He's got a 10 in strategy, trust, and star quality. Not enough spirit and tactics, though, Maru. You got to work on that.
I'm pretty sure Maru's spirit should be in the furthest inside pentagram.
He gets a 0.
Yeah, he needs a 0 on spirit, man. He's like the least spirited player. But doesn't matter how much he smiles, how few words he says in interviews. He is a badass. He is a god of Starcraft 2. He is 6-0. 6-0 in Pro League matches.
Like, even though we say how this could be a really close match, Maru is just stomping, and he's on a roll, so it's hard to vote against him in this matchup. Guys, let's jump into game number 2 now of Maru, or rather 3, Maru versus aLive. Down here in the bottom left, in the red for the Jinair Green Wings, it is Maru.
And over here to the bottom right, in blue for the Afreeca Freaks, it is aLive. Spawning again here at the bottom horizontal spawning location on Frost. Very large map, and with how the meta of TVT is right now, had we been cross map, this could have been a very, very long game. Still maybe. But a lot more potential aggression for backstabs with tank-evacs, big doom drops, kind of like what we were seeing from Bomber in the previous set.
Yeah, for sure. And even the set that we have between Ryung and Su, even though it's a different matchup, if you consider that these players might take the 4th base that is above the 3rd base, which is above the natural, of course, then you could have a lot of potential for big drops over there, trying to snipe the 4th, trying to do that damage.
Yeah, this matchup is... like, just in general, Terran has the most insanely mobile DPS squad forces. If you have 3 medevacs full of Marines and you go to a base that's undefended, it dies. If there's nothing there, there's just the highest DPS in the game in the Marines is going to destroy that CC. So you really have to be careful. We'll probably see the 4th base made into a planetary for this reason, to make sure that those drops can't decimate the bases. Nice.
Those SCVs just kiss, man.
Yeah. And it really made Maru's SCV like a little bit shy and went and touched the watchtower for a second. He's like, "Did he look back at me?"
Yeah.
He didn't look back though. Never look back.
We're gonna have very similar builds coming up here from the two players. Very, very standard. Oh, just barely getting that command center down.
This SCV is like, "Did you kiss the SCV? She's mine." Get off the CC. Jealous SCVs.
Yeah, man. Reaper's going to be coming out here, 1 by 1. Looks like Maru's going to commit to a second one here.
Maru's also going for a factory. Based on these positions, looks like he wants to be the aggressor. Lots of scouts here with this watchtower's positioning.
Yeah, Maru is one of these players in TVT that definitely likes to tech more than he likes to get that fast expand, even on these giant maps. I remember Runes of Ceres cross positions versus Innovation, and he goes for a Banshee first build. Like, I mean, that's Maru in a nutshell, essentially. He is going to be getting out his factory now and going straight into Starport here. So it looks like a very similar build.
The SCB didn't see the factory, but does see the double Reaper opening. He's got his own factory coming up with a second gas. aLive, that is. He's also setting up for the Reapers, which he knows are heading his way. And looks like Maru is also predicting this. We'll go and hit the natural instead, getting there just a second too late to harass that building SCV. And because of the double Reaper, Maru his Starport isn't as fast as it could be, but he is going to go ahead and lift it and put it onto that tech lab. So even committing to this Hellion, so saying, yeah, you have your CC first, but you can't really use it, not yet.
Yeah, and we already got Cloak on the way here, and a Banshee started for Maru, so... I mean, he's been using Banshees and TVT better than anyone else since, like, 2014, man. Like, this guy is just Banshees all the way in every matchup. I'm surprised that aLive even scans there, but, I mean, he wants to play it safe, but it's like, this guy will go Banshees, like, 80% of the time in this matchup.
Cyclone on the way for safety here for aLive, a smart choice. aLive known to make that safety Cyclone in this matchup. Even though he's often the aggressor with Banshees, it's even his icon in Star League, the Cloak logo. But with the Cyclone comes out, this aggression will stop. The fact that this orbital is damaged to half health isn't that significant in the grand scheme of things. It's more about the fact that he couldn't mine from. But here comes that Cyclone, locks onto the Reaper. We'll grab that first kill to get the second like on. Oh, not quite yet, of course. Forcing that away. First Banshee is going directly across the map.
Yeah, I love the way that aLive prepares for this. By the way, he's taking every single precaution. A Viking, 3 turrets, a Cyclone. Like, he knows how good Maru is. Even when it looks like there's a lot of defense, Maru will find like 5 or 6 kills here and there. So he's saying, I'm going to have even better defense than the guys that you did this to before. And I just want to make sure 100% that I do not take damage against the Banshees.
Banshee cloaks here. Looks like he wants to target down the Cyclone. Instead of doing so, though, when he sees that turret is here, he's just going to find an angle to hit the Marines on the ramp. Cyclone can't do much about this unless a scan is committed to. And he's just basically targeting down SCVs with his other units. One more Hellion shot could kill so many SCVs right now, and he's going to go for it.
He's going to get one, gets another one. That's 3 in total. In fact, and the scan is going to come down.
But it's low on health, and he kills the Cyclone.
Kills the Cyclone. Eventually does go down. But again, this is what I'm talking about. Maru will find damage. He killed like 4 Marines.
He killed the depot.
Yeah.
And the third base is up behind this. Raven's now coming up. Meanwhile, a counter drop by aLive. We didn't get a shot of it until very late. Only 2 SCVs die. A quick pull by Maru. Going to actually drop down 1 scouting SCV and then harass here a little bit more at the natural.
Coming in here, doing a bit of damage, you know. Even just a small group of Marines will be able to do this if you focus them down. 8 SCVs, 9 SCVs in total now.
Yeah, it takes a lead in supply here. We'll scout this third base as well. That was more damage than the Banshee got done worker-wise. And puts aLive on a pretty hefty SCV lead.
Ooh, look at this. Cloak really laid out of aLive after a Raven.
He canceled it, though. Delayed Cloak can work out a lot of the time. I'm surprised he canceled it. I really thought he was going to commit there.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because maybe he went into the base and he's like, oh, he doesn't have that much defense against Banshees. I could probably make this work, but he's only got a Raven. There's no turrets out on the map here for Maru. So I see what he was thinking, but maybe he saw the Raven and he's just like, I don't want to commit to this. It's kind of risky. He knows he's ahead very slightly, and he just wants to play straight up, and I can admire that.
aLive, you're taking a little bit more Banshee harass damage, even with all the turrets he's built and the Raven. Maru finds a way. I mean, if you ever doubted what Valdez said earlier, guys, about Maru's Banshee control and the amount of value he gets, I mean, just watch this game.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see someone versus all these turrets and even a Raven and Viking that the second Banshee gets 4 kills.
Yeah.
And a full scout of the base.
Does go down eventually as aLive has made the necessary units, that has the necessary precautions to defend against that. Scan going to go down as this drop is preparing here.
I love that scan because he knows that after the Banshee is killed, that's the moment when aLive knows he has flexibility to move out and attack, because he knows that it's very unlikely Maru would make even a third Banshee after seeing all those turrets, the Raven, etc. So Maru is just like, all right, is it safe to move out now? Okay, where is he coming? He's going to even try to set up a...
Oh, this is so good. he's caught him. Although I think he was just being safe. The PDD is going to come down here.
Yep, it's funny. Both players going for PDDs. He's going to target down that dropship.
Oh,
aLive forgot the Raven.
So expensive, and that is going to go down. He can even try to kill that Viking, but he's just going to go straight to the base and try to find some medevacs.
Yep. And actually, if he controls well, I think he may be able to get one. Doesn't want to commit. aLive does have his own third CC up, and Maru with the faster stim going to come over here and harass. It's not quite done yet.
I thought Maru was going to harass with those two Marines and try to get the army out of position. That would have been so smart. He's just going to wait and group up with the rest of his army. Also something you can do here. Maru is committed heavily to Vikings, so he doesn't even have a single medevac.
Oh, it looks like aLive is considering attacking into this, but he doesn't have stims, so this is very difficult to do. The Vikings are doing serious work to those medevacs, and I think this is a positive trade for Maru.
He can even land on the tanks now. There's
going
nothing to do with this. There's only 2 Marines. There you go. Nice pickups, though. Really, really smart, and he just drops them down once the Vikings come up.
This may have been a slight overcommitment by Maru, but I like the idea here. And Maru's base fully saturated.
Good effort.
Yeah. Good hustle.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I like the effort there. Both players, you know, getting upgrades for the Marines, but again, Maru ahead, faster stim, faster combat shields. 1-1 versus the +1 armor just now starting for aLive.
Got a nice little drop here. aLive identifying that the Vikings must be somewhere getting repaired as they were very, very low. There's no defense in the main right now.
Nope. All of his units are out in the middle of the map, so aLive finds a window here to kill some of these SCVs. Tank will siege up here. He's even going to try to kill this dropped depot. Not going to happen. It's repaired. He's just going to go ahead and pick up and fly to the natural.
Yeah, in the meantime, Maru trying to make those tankovacs work. Another drop into the back door of that natural will be cleaned up eventually here by Maru. Nice pickup from aLive. Oh, never mind. Does go down.
Looks like Maru is setting up to do some tankovac harass here on the third base. This is the mark of a good TVT player in Legacy of the Void, is how well you use your tankovacs. That's once you get past the mid game, that's basically the deciding factor in games. You can harass the Marine army. If you have support of Vikings, you have no fear. No Marines will ever kill those tanks. And if they try to commit, you make them trade poorly. Oh, I killed a fourth of your tank, but I lost 12 Marines for it. You pick up, you boost away. If Vikings came over, you have the superior Viking count, you kill the Vikings. Now, aLive is going to go for a big wraparound drop all the way to the north.
This is a very risky drop, you know, because your Marines are out of position for a long time. You need the medevacs back at home. But this scan made denote to Maru that he may want to go for an attack here.
Yeah. Don't forget there's a sensor tower here, and aLive has a scouting SCV, so he sees this coming. A big stim here to defend. That sensor tower going to get blown up here, but it looks like Maru cannot commit to the main.
Yeah, nice drop down here, though, on the bottom of the cliff. Trying to take out that tank, but good control out of aLive, too. This game is just so back and forth and so close.
Notice the positioning of these barracks for aLive as well. Nowhere near the edge of the base, so they're mostly safe. Here comes the first drop from aLive. He's actually splitting them up to two different bases. Knowing Maru is committing so many units across the map, killing more SCVs here, denying more mining.
Yeah, finally this risky drop will pay off. The tank is going to come back here and defend this one, and the rest of the units will defend the third base, but that's a lot of lost mining time and a bit of damage. 3 SCVs do go down.
This tank's finally going to kill that scouting SCV, which gave that advance warning to aLive. This will just be cleaned up and killed. aLive looking elsewhere as he controls this drop, which is about 4 more SCVs. aLive, 8 workers up right now. The banks for these two players in mineral is almost identical. Again, Maru with the better upgrades, but we're not going to have that game-ending fight anytime soon.
Yeah, that is for sure. Big map like Frost, and just such a back-and-forth game, too, where I feel like these players are very even in skill. You can see it in the game. Here we go. Maru trying to drop down here. aLive drops first, but Maru does drop out of the range of the tanks.
Vision control is so important here. He's not even going to be able to control this watchtower. Vision there for aLive was his briefly, but now that he can't hold the watchtower, the Vikings are going to win out. And Maru will be able to push forward because there's no Vikings in this army for aLive, and that's a big promise. Siege up is late as well. This is a great trade for Maru.
All of those tanks in the back for aLive were not participating in the majority of that fight. And the Vikings you were talking about pushing the medevacs back, getting him that vision, and now he controls the watchtower. That is a huge point of contention on a map like this with the watchtower right in the middle in TVT.
Yeah, with how this matchup works, you control something like this, you have vision to say, okay, no Vikings over here, I'm going to poke your medevacs. Your Marines run forward, you run into the line of sight blocker. As I've said many times before, you never want to do that. The Marines over here for aLive could get some harassment done, but he may lose his entire army on the other side of the map at the same time.
Yeah, there we go. Bunch of tanks do go down, but the drop coming into the third base. No defense there. Maru may have to turn around. He's trying to decide whether he goes for the attack or not. It looks like he's going to just push back here.
Oh, some indecision with these Marines, costing aLive big. His army is much smaller, but yeah, he's doing a lot of damage here with these Marines. Still not fully dealt with yet. Sensor Tower does scout this. Let's see how quickly aLive does respond.
Boost coming in here. Maru's going to get those tanks dropped in the perfect position right next to the production here. aLive does drop in the low ground, though, to pick off a couple of those tanks.
Yeah, some of these tanks are so low, but I don't think this is a position that aLive can actually defend. His production facilities are capped, so every Marine that spawns is being killed. His drop, his harassment on the other side of the map was cleaned up. And he's just losing all of his Marine production. He can't afford to lose this.
Look at that one Viking that's stopping the Medivacs from coming in, just zoning for just that nice amount of time. Here we go, the SCVs coming in. 13 of them are going to go down, and Maru may have just gone for that game-winning move.
I think he absolutely has. I think this one is over. No more Marine production here for aLive. He also has not a lot of economy to rebuild this. And
no defense. Everything from Maru. He's got a perfect economy on 3 bases, just going just fine. He's able to stim in here, and that is so many SCVs once again going down.
88 supply to 34 in army. That is going to be it here for game number 3. aLive, try as he might, will never be able to recover from this. And that's going to be the end of this CC and the end of this game.
Scan goes down on the 4th, so he knows he's got a 4th. Maru may just choose to end the game here regardless. Looks like he's going to drop at the same time. Just make sure he can secure the win here.
Yep, scans, sees that this is a solid engagement point, forcing that lift up on the Marines. Not taking the best engaged versus his tanks, but he just has so many Marines, he doesn't care. He has the better upgrades as well. 3-3 nearly completed, and to kill the last of these tanks, that 4th base is dead as well. You guys can see it on the minimap. There it is. It's toast. He can't do anything. He's going to fight with those SCVs versus soon-to-be 3-3 Marines. He doesn't want to leave the game, but this is absolutely over.
Yeah, just trying to deal with it in his head, trying to think over what exactly did go wrong. GG, Maru will take game number 3 against aLive, getting them to a 2-1 lead here in this matchup.
Putting Jin-Air on match point before we go into SOS's next game. A very close game, a lot of awesome harass throughout that game from aLive, but he lost too many engagements because of the lack of vision control on the watchtower, the Vikings that were moving his medevacs back. He was using mostly medevacs for vision. And why has this happened? Is it because aLive doesn't think Vikings are important? Is he really not prioritizing that? No, it goes back to that one fight with the Ravens in the middle of the map where he had the Viking war. From that point on, Maru had air control. He killed the Raven as well, and aLive just couldn't outproduce him in Vikings.
Yep, so there you have it. I mean, aLive played a great game himself. It was very, very close throughout the entirety of that map, but Maru just slightly ahead right now in terms of his form, just everything right now, just slightly ahead of aLive. So we'll take that win. Maru, I feel like, is now the ace player for Jin-Air for sure. I think he goes up to 7-0. That's
7-0.
insane.
Not a single map drop in best of ones, which have the highest variance of any best of.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to be going into game number 4, SOS versus the new pickup here for the Afreeca Freaks, Patience. A PvP, another mirror matchup here.
Yeah, Patience being picked up after he left Dead Pixels. In fact, the manager tweeted that